Hello, I'm sorry if you can hear what sounds like a jet engine located only 3 feet away from my mic. It's just my PS4 Slim installing Cyberpunk. CD Projekt Red, why have you done this to me? You're gonna kill my console. Activision's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series has been dead since 2015, and given the way that the franchise died with a decade-long whimper that led to one of the worst games of the PlayStation 4 generation, the last thing that anybody expected this soon was a revival. Believe me guys, I know your pain. But it happened, and in 2020 of all things. And now, given the way that the Crash Bandicoot series, another Activision property, is panning out right now, this may just be a new foundation being set for a whole new franchise. And fucking hell does it deserve it. I'm Pizza Dad, and this is the Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster. The most 90s thing I've seen since, well, yesterday. Remastering a game from a previous generation can be hard as is, but Vicarious Visions had to not only fully remaster a game from the 90s in order to live up to modern standards, but also had to regain audience trust after the train wreck that was Pro Skater 5. And within just the past few years, we've seen just how hard remaking one beloved game can be, let alone two. But they did it, not just by up-resing the original games, but by taking their foundation and building upon it in a way that respects the original work. AKA my personal favorite way to do a remake, or whatever the fuck we're calling this. I personally say remake since it was made from the ground up and has enough significant changes that it warrants being its own entirely separate thing, such as having the levels of 1 and 2 simply be tours, instead of separating them into entirely different games, which was a pretty smart move in the end, since this allows the whole game to feel pretty flush. It also allows certain mechanics to be in all of the levels, specifically create a skater, which wasn't in the original game. Speaking of customization, I kind of take it very seriously for some reason. Constantly in my videos, I've pointed out many games where small oversights in their customization mechanics can actually limit player expression. Plus, I like making good looking characters, no matter the gender. I take a lot of pride in how much time I spend designing and redesigning my characters. I'm looking at you, Code Vein. And in the Pro Skater Remaster's case, it's very serviceable. There's lots of different styles of shirts, pants, shoes, and helmets, but you can even change your socks. Thank fuck! This is something new that I've never seen in a game, and I am legitimately happy that Vicarious put this in. You can't see it obviously, but I'm smiling. However, it's when we get to the actual character customizing where this all falls short, or the lack thereof. My biggest personal pet peeve is basing customization entirely off of preset faces, and unfortunately this remaster does exactly that. There's about 15 or so preset faces, and that's it. You can't change anything about the faces themselves except for the eye color, hair, and the skin tone. There's not even body customization, which is pretty surprising. I mean, you'd think that they'd at least add selectable body types? This may have been done to keep the whole skater look consistent no matter what clothes you decide to wear. I mean, have you seen what kind of monstrosities you can make in the original Pro Skater 2 recently? That is a boy that not even a mother could love. The creative part is also very limited. There's enough here for those who are really imaginative and skilled to make some really cool shit, but for most casual players like myself, you'll probably just make one to get the trophy and then never touch it again. So customization, while fine enough, it just isn't as great as I wanted it to be. But the game itself is. The easiest thing that I can compare Pro Skater's gameplay to is like Mirror's Edge or Assassin's Creed, but you're just glued to a skateboard. And yeah, that sounds a bit clunky initially, but in practice it's smooth as hell. Despite the originals being classics, I do think that they are a little on the hard to control side. They're still good, they're just harder to love. It's like your favorite pair of undies. When you first get them, they're fun and very tight, in a good way. But as the years add on, you see that tightness whittle away, and eventually, you begin to see the shit stains more clearly. That's what happens when it's been 21 years since the first game came out. But this remake is the bleach that breathes new life into those chonies. Alright, I quit. I gotta get a new fucking analogy. The point is, with the changes to how this plays, this remake is pretty much my go-to way to play these earlier titles from now on. Whether you're an older fan or somebody who's just getting into the series, you'll quickly get used to the speed, the height, and the turns. Well, except for specifically turning around in tight corners. I still can't do that after 8 hours of playtime. From what I know, this remaster has even included lots of new moves from later games in the series that in turn makes this gameplay even better, such as reverts and wall planting, the latter of which is my absolute favorite thing to do in this game. It's so cool in a dumb 90s way, just kicking off a wall to continue my sick ass combo. The altered moveset is just amazing when compared to the originals, which again, great games, don't get me wrong, but there's just so much more dynamic combos that I can do.
I can fucking wall plant!
However, the original movesets from both 1 and 2 respectively are included for those who don't want all the new bells and whistles. Hey Nintendo, you should be taking notes, this is going to be on your next test. The only problem I have is that not all the moves are easily found in the menus with the rest of the tricks, meaning that the internet is kind of your best guide when it comes to some of the more specific moves. There's also the introduction of game mods, which are now here as the surrogate big sibling in order to help you beat that really hard level. They're just a really quick selection and it's done. They can be toggled on and off whenever the player wants. And after playing this game for a significant time both with and without mods, I can safely say that there is merit to both playstyles. One is a chill mode that I use more to complete tournaments, to get sick scores, or explore, and the other is a test of skill, patience, and timing with a huge payoff. Both are pretty damn great. And it's not like they're mutually exclusive. Whether you want the platinum or if you just want to unlock the secret character YouTube sensation Jablinski Games, you can easily just deselect the mods for the time being and just complete the task. It's not that hard. Of course, there's still people who think that if something doesn't directly apply to them, then it just shouldn't be in the game. And if you use it, then you're playing it wrong. But I personally think that this is a good thing, regardless of whether you use them or not. This is what difficulty options should be. A quick little checklist that can be customized to your heart's content. Pro Skater 1 and 2 can be as hard or as easy as you want it to be whenever you need it. I personally think that that's what difficulty should be, not the same boring ass easy, normal, and hard modes. There's local multiplayer, a rare sight nowadays, that I think will keep people occupied for a little while. There's also online multiplayer, but no, we don't do that around here. I just personally see myself playing games like Horse and Tag with Pizza Mom on a couch, over playing ranked and even casual online matches any day. But that's just me. Most of the modes are pretty samey, but we are playing a skateboard game after all. I mean, what the fuck did I expect? Nevertheless, they're all great fun. There's also Free Skate, which allows you to run around a level without a time limit, Single Session, which is the same thing with a time limit, and there's also a speedrun mode, which is very self-explanatory. For a $40 game, the last thing I expected was a bunch of enjoyable additional modes, including dedicated couch multiplayer. But I guess this remake wanted to stick as close as it reasonably could to the originals, from tons of additional modes to the levels themselves. Never have I ever wanted to go to Miami a day in my life, but the school level makes me want to. I've been to California so many times that I've gotten exhausted of its existence. But when I look at Venice Beach, I see what all those 80s and 90s movies made me see. Philly, New York, San Francisco, Marseille, they're all great locations that capture the beauty of traveling the world and then skating all over it. Pro Skater is fucking beautiful and it sounds great too. The rolling of the wheels on the terrain, the silence when your board is in midair, it's all top tier ASMR shit. As much as I love the licensed music, it's sometimes fun to just skate in silence and listen to a busy city. Quarantine got me feeling some type of way, man. I think I'm missing people. It's weird. This leads me into the one thing that this game is really missing. The only thing, as a matter of fact. The original soundtrack and menus. We had the sound effects, but damn are those menu tracks going to be sorely missed. This was all replaced by the aforementioned licensed music, which is great on its own merit. The fact that they were able to get the license to not only the majority of the original songs from 1 and 2, but secured all new tracks that fit in with the tone and vibe of these games is impressive. And now these 30 or so songs play on a radio-like seamless loop that never stops or skips unless you say so. It's all great. I love it. Very well done. But not a damn thing on this earth will ever top the original Pro Skater menu theme, and you can tell your mama that too, bitch. I don't know where that came from, but I'm keeping it in. And usually I wouldn't be too bothered by a soundtrack change, since this is basically a new game with the same core as the original titles, but because those games were so influential, and because those tracks were so damn good, their omission is a little bit disheartening. But to be honest, even that is incredibly inconsequential. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Pro Skater 1 and 2 is one of the best games of 2020. It took some older gems and brushed them off in order to live up to modern standards, and damn do they clean up nice. It's chock full of replayability. From unlockable characters, to multiplayer modes, to speedrunning, and even trophies. For $40, this game is worth it as is. And especially now that it's as cheap as $30, it'd be a complete and utter disservice to yourself to skip out on this game. Even if you're like me and have never completed a Tony Hawk game, then take this as a chance to jump on in. I can't believe I'm gonna fucking say this, but there's a little something for everyone. Welp, I just gave what little credibility I had a swirly. And to reiterate what I said at the beginning, yes, I do hope that this remaster will get a well-made sequel that lives up to this game's expectations. Hopefully Activision has learned their lessons regarding their past business practices, and will do their best to keep their franchises focused on quality over quantity for the foreseeable future. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm using this video as sort of a hibernation thing. I'm just batching work together so I can go play Cyberpunk for like 2 weeks. Anyways, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll catch you guys next time later, kids. I'll see you after Cyberpunk.